Welcome back to Purple Nerd Channel, where we geek out on all things Prince related. Back in 1985, Prince started his own record label through Warner Brothers called Paisley Park Records. Several years later though, Prince had his falling out with Warner Brothers and he closed the label in 1994, only to reopen and recreate it as NPG Records. He decided to put together a compilation to promote the new record label, as well as to feature the new artists as well as the artists he brought over from Paisley Park Records. This compilation would eventually be called 1-800-NEW-FUNK. 1-800-NEW-FUNK was actually a real toll-free number you could call to purchase Prince music and merchandise. It was advertised inside of Prince's cassettes as well as his CDs and several different music publications. It would eventually become a website of the same name where you could also buy Prince merchandise and music. 1-800-NEW-FUNK was released July 20th, 1994, peaking at number 45 on the R&B charts. If you include the retail sales as well as the album sold through 1-800-NEW-FUNK, the project actually sold over 500,000 copies. Two singles were released to promote the project, the Nona Gay and Prince song Love Sign, which peaked at number 32 on the R&B charts, and Standing at the Altar by Margie Cox, which unfortunately did not chart. A music video was released for the song Love Sign, which was actually written and directed by Ice Cube. Ice Cube had met Prince through George Clinton, who was signed to Paisley Park Records at the time. Ice Cube was featured on George's song Paint the White House Black, which was a song released as a single through Paisley Park Records. So let's go ahead and dive into this project. The first song is Minneapolis by Minneapolis. Minneapolis was a spin-off group from the NPG band. The group consisted of co-lead singers Sonny T and Jana Anderson, Morris Hayes, and Prince. The song features the Steels on the background, and there was supposed to be a full album release, but it never was released. Next we have Hollywood by George Clinton. This song is from George's album Hey Man, Smell My Finger, which was released through Paisley Park Records on October 12, 1993. The album peaked at number 31 on the R&B charts and released two singles, Paint the White House Black and Martial Law. Love Sign was originally released as a promotional single to DJs only, but due to its popularity, it would get an official release as well as I mentioned before, a music video. The song is an anti-gun anthem and it features lead vocals by Prince and Nona Gay, the daughter of Marvin Gaye. Prince only recorded 4 songs with Nona Gay, including this one here. She would go on to release 2 albums of her own with no Prince input. She was featured in the Prince TV special, The Beautiful Experience. This special would lead to an acting career for Nona, as she would appear in the Matrix films as well as doing voice work in films like The Polar Express. If I Love You Tonight by Maite would be released on her solo album Child of the Sun on November 27, 1995. Warner Brothers would only allow the project to be released overseas in Europe, which hurt its sales significantly. This song has been recorded a total of 3 times by Prince. The first with his short-lived band The Rebels in 1979, again with Mika Paris in 1991, and finally by Maite in 1994. Just like we then have Color by the Steels. The Steels is a group of family members that would go anywhere from 4 to 5 members at a time, and they had been doing background work for Prince since 1989. They released their own album, Heaven Help Us All, in 1993 on Electric Records, which features the song Well Done, which was co-written by Prince. If we're not together, how do we? Together by the NPG was released on their debut album, which was released August 30th, 1993. Originally, the album was only available at the Act 2 tour and for a very limited time at the NPG stores. This song is a really good representation of what this entire album sounds like, as it's really more or less a Tony M project and does a great job of blending hip-hop, 70s grooves, and even a little bit of jazz. Standing at the Altar by Margie Cox was recorded way back in 1991. It was meant to be on her solo album, but her solo album was canceled as Prince decided to do a duet album with her. At one time it was going to be called Flash, and then it was eventually going to be called MC Flash, but neither has ever been released. Margie's start was with a band called Tamara and the Scene, which was a group produced by former Times guitarist Jesse Johnson. Next we have You Will Be Moved by Mavis Staples. When you think of how hard. This song was originally featured on her album The Voice, released on August 24th, 1993. This is actually her second album she's done with Prince. Her first one, Time Waits for No One, which was released on Paisley Park Records. Mavis Staples was part of the classic group The Staple Singers. She started working with Prince in 1988, and it was even featured in the film Graffiti Bridge, playing the character Melody Cool.
I'm still Melody, and I'm still cool.
The instrumental 17 is from the jazz funk band Madhouse from their album 24, which was never released. The original albums by Madhouse were 8 and 16, and back then the band was just Prince and Eric Leeds. 24 was supposed to be a larger band project, still with Prince and Eric Leeds, but adding Sonny T, Michael Bland, and Levi Caesar Jr. The project actually closes with the ending of the first song on this project, which is Minneapolis, but the final full song is by Nona Gay, and it's her cover of the Bobby Womack classic, A Woman's Gotta Have It. As I had mentioned earlier in the video, the whole purpose of this project was to promote the new NPG record label. The problem though was Prince was doing this during his dispute with Warner Brothers, and they pretty much made it as difficult as possible for him to get anything out. I mean, if you look at the first 3 releases, Warner Brothers wouldn't let any of them be released in America, and all 3 were only released in Europe in limited runs. On top of that, he was having enough issues just getting his own solo work out, so he restructured the label to basically be his label to release his music, with only an occasional non-Prince project being released on NPG Records. This is very different from his previous record label, Paisley Park, which ran like a traditional record label, with a full roster of artists. For comparison, in just short of 10 years, Paisley Park Records released 22 non-Prince projects, all of them getting full retail releases. Whereas just under 25 years with NPG Records, only 12 non-Prince albums were released, none of them getting full retail releases, and most of them only being released to the NPG Music Club. Thank you again for joining me on the channel. Please like and share this video as much as possible, and as always, please subscribe to the channel. I will see you on the next episode where I go over the first group released on the newly founded NPG Records. And until the next episode, I wish you heaven.